Hey, good morning, everyone. So we are going live here for our leadership circle call. We're also recording it on a phone line, so assumedly all technology is working here. My name's Margie Aliprandi, and I'm really excited to be with you here, especially to talk about this topic of leadership because it's a favorite of mine. And from a really young age, I fell in love with personal development. Hi, guys, as you're coming on the line. So good to see you this morning. Welcome to our leadership circle call. Maybe I should just lay a little bit of subtext here. For those who may be watching that are not a part of the brand that we represent, or you're listening in about these leadership topics, this is a call that we hold every single week. And this week it is my pleasure and my honor to be leading this call. And it's kind of an insider's call, but it's also designed to help you sharpen your saw. And so anybody that is in a field where it requires some leadership, this is a really beneficial call to tune into. And so I'm really honored to be able to lead this call this morning and to share with you my love for leadership. As I was mentioning a few minutes ago, at a very young age, I fell in love with personal development. I was so lit up by the idea that we can control our destiny, that our thoughts matter. And then I observed the power of influence and how the difference that we can make in each other's lives. And I was fascinated by the stories of the great leaders throughout history. Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, humanitarian leaders like Mother Teresa, people that really move the dial. And one of my very early impressions actually was my dad. So my father was a real estate broker for one of the largest real estate companies in the Intermountain West. And I loved watching the impact that he had on his agents and on their families. And I remember going to the Christmas parties and sitting there as a young girl, as there was like a room full of people, and he was motivating all of the people that were in attendance there, and he was acknowledging them, and they were laughing and they felt seen and appreciated. And I remember thinking, I want to be able to make that kind of an impact. And oh my heavens, they got incredible results. Back in the day, if you opened a newspaper, you would see the Sunday paper was entirely my dad's agents and all of their listings, like pages and pages and pages. And so that was an early impression. And I decided at a really young age that I wanted to be able to have influence and have an impact. And I think one of the things that draws us to good morning, I know back in the day, David's saying newspapers, like when did that ever happen? I know, ancient news here. But yeah, that was the case back in the day. Newspapers, pages and pages of listings, my dad. Anyway, I think one of the things that draws us to a network marketing or a direct sales business is, yes, we love the idea of being our own boss. And yes, we love the idea of working something on our own terms in our part-time that can maybe at some point replace our full-time income. But I think that at the core of it, it's our desire to make a difference, to serve, to make our lives count for something. And so in the time that we spend together this morning, what I hope to do is demystify this whole idea of leadership and to make two major points. One, there are no born leaders. You aren't born with amazing, skills that are going to influence and change people's lives. You are all of these skills are something that can be acquired. They are skills that you can activate. And it's a lifelong journey. So it's not like we become a leader and then we've arrived. These are skills that we're always going to want to sharpen and always going to want to improve upon. And I can tell you, it feels a little bit scary sometimes, the idea of leading, right? It comes with a great deal of responsibility. And some of us like, oh, we just don't even want that much responsibility. And in this business of network marketing and direct sales, let's just say this, leadership is kind of like implicit, and it can happen. It can be almost thrust upon you very, very quickly, because you enroll one day and then a week later you enroll somebody, or a day later you enroll someone, and all of a sudden you're a leader and you need to be leading the troops. But guys, let's just take this whole thing as exactly what it is, and that is that we are all aspiring to make a difference in other people's lives. Leadership skills, you can activate them, you can learn them. It isn't some mystical, magical thing that people are born with, that if you didn't get born with that gene, you can't lead. The reality is that everybody can polish their leadership skills and become a great leader. So for my comments this morning, I am going to be referring to a Harvard Business Review article, a study that was done. I think this is absolutely fascinating. Let me just tell you a little bit about this study. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this was Harvard Business Review, and it was done by Sunny Giles, and it's a study of 195 leaders in 15 different countries that oversee 30 global organizations. And so they were given a list of 74 core competencies that leaders should have in order to be effective, and they were asked to pick the top 15. And so what's very interesting, good morning, guys. What's very interesting is to see the results of these. And so one other thing that I found very interesting is as I was kind of reviewing this and studying this material, is how closely they align with our core values as a company. Just found that very, very interesting. For those of you who are listening, who are going, what company, what core values? So we, as a company and as team members here that are a part of this leadership circle call, we aspire to and we espouse 5 core values as a company and as individuals. We desire to embody them. When we build a corporate team, we hire against them. As we bring people onto our own teams as everyday entrepreneurs, we are looking for people that have these qualities. And so they are to be authentic, number 1, to be compassionate, to be vibrant, to be disruptive, and to be humble. In other words, just, never being too full of yourself to realize that there could be a better way and that we need to stay open to these things. So let's take a look now at these. I'm going to read all 5 of these to you first, and then we'll kind of dive into them one by one and create some specific application of how, good morning, Patty, of how they apply to our business. So the top 10 leadership competencies, and they've been divided into 5 major themes. So these are the most important leadership competencies according to 195 leaders around the world that oversee 30 global markets, right? So number 1, people want to be led by somebody that demonstrates high ethics and provides a sense of safety. So if you're taking notes, people want to be led by someone that demonstrates strong ethics and provides a sense of safety. In other words, people want to be led by somebody they can trust, right? Pretty simple. Number 1. Number 2, people want to be led by someone that empowers them to self-organize. Number 3, people want to be led by someone that fosters a sense of connection and belonging. Somebody that can communicate well and openly and often. Number 4, hey Michelle. Number 4, people want to be led by someone who shows openness to new ideas and fosters ongoing organizational learning. In other words, somebody that encourages personal development, right? I love it when you guys take notes and kind of like, encapsulate what I'm saying here in the feed. Thanks for that. And number 5 is someone that people want to be led by someone that nurtures growth, right? So number 1, somebody that has ethics, somebody they can trust, right? Number 2, somebody that empowers them to self-organize. Number 3, somebody that fosters a sense of connection and belonging. Number 4, someone that's open, right? Progressive, always open to new ideas, never get stuck in their ways, always efficient learning. And number 5, somebody that nurtures growth. All right, so let's dive into these a little bit, and I'm going to be referring to this study as we go. So first one is, people want to work with somebody that they know they can trust. Bottom line, this is a skill set that we can always improve upon. We can improve, we can aspire and work on being more authentic, more transparent, completely honest, showing integrity and telling the truth, doing what we say we're going to do. And especially in a business like network marketing and direct sales, which inherently people have maybe misgivings about. Maybe it's viewed as kind of a low trust business. And that's entirely as a result of us and how we portray it. And I'm not talking about us specifically in this company, but by and large, there are people, individuals, and companies that still portray this business as a something for nothing, get started, become a millionaire overnight, I'll do it all for you. All of this crap that gets perpetuated about our business. And so we have an obligation, if we want to create trust, to tell the truth, because guess what? The truth is good enough. And so, yes, exactly, not be ashamed, right? Be bold and be honest and be direct and be accurate. One of the most important things we can do is set accurate expectations for people. If we set an idea that something is possible that maybe only a handful of people have ever achieved, we set people up for frustration, maybe failure. And so when you take this very first one of people want to work with somebody and trust somebody that they can trust, it's all about that high ethical standard, creating a level playing field, instilling confidence that there are rules to this game. They're going to be obeyed by all of us. You can have confidence that it's a level playing field. And I want to tell you, in our company, this starts from the top down. I can't tell you how many times I've heard Justin and Sarah say how important it is to create a level playing field so that people feel safe. And in fact, this is actually a part of our hard wiring. So the amygdala in our brain is what monitors our sense of safety. And it also picks up if there is imminent threat of any kind. And it's pretty primal. And so literally when our amygdala gets stimulated, it hardens and thickens our arteries, and it immediately starts rushing blood to our extremities, right? This is our wiring. It rushes blood to our extremities so that we're ready for fight or flight. And so the bottom line is this: people cannot perform, they cannot feel creative if they aren't in an environment where they feel safe and where they can trust. And so us being able to establish trust and maintain trust is hugely important. Sorry, gotta grab some water. And it's in our hard wiring. We are literally built that we want to have safety. So several years ago, I had the opportunity to interview Stephen M.R. Covey, right? This is the son of Stephen, the famous late Stephen Covey, who is just famous for his stuff on leadership. And Stephen M.R. Covey wrote a book called The Speed of Trust. And, at one of the themes of our regional events right now is that success loves speed, speed loves simplicity. And if I were to weave in Stephen M.R. Covey's idea, nothing moves as quickly as the speed of trust. The speed of trust. When we trust, when we feel safe, when we know that we've got somebody that really cares about us, we can move things quickly and we can move mountains together. And one of the things that he taught Drop a one. Let me just say this. Drop a one here if you were on last week's amazing leadership circle led by Tony Zalecki. I don't always get to tune into these. Mondays are crazy busy days, but I was blown away by his practical and really implementable information about how to clear up misunderstandings, how to have those crucial conversations. Drop a one. Was that incredible? Like I was taking notes like crazy. So Stephen M.R. Covey has a similar thing that he says, you can actually we from time to time, we're all going to break trust, right? It's really easy in our desire to serve and help people to overcommit ourselves. And so we are, in a sense, breaching trust when that happens. If we don't keep a commitment, if we don't do what we say we're going to do, we are essentially breaching trust. And so Stephen M.R. Covey gives this amazing formula of clearing up or cleaning it up fast. And simply you circle up with somebody and you say, I made a commitment to you. I didn't keep that commitment. I want to clean it up. I broke trust with you. And then you make sure that you keep your commitments. Be careful what you commit to. I know it's so easy to make promises, but confidence and relationships are built on promises that are kept. And the best way to build trust with ourselves or with other people is keeping small promises. And what Stephen M.R. Covey points out is that you also draw attention to it. So you use words when you're following up or when you are keeping your promise, like as promised or as per our agreement or in alignment with our commitment. Then you are building relationships. And so at the core of all of this is that we're building bonds with people, and it's based on keeping promises. It's based on knowing that we can be counted on. So the quicker we can build trust, the quicker that we can help move through business. So success loves speed, speed loves simplicity, and nothing can move as quickly as the speed of trust. All right, so let's move on to number 2, which is empowering others to be self-organized, right? So this is a business where we are striving to create leverage and duplication. No one leader can do it all. And I know that those of us who are control freaks and those of us who want to serve the world, we come in with this idea that we're going to do it all somehow. And then we realize there's absolutely no way that we can. And there is a need to delegate. One of the amazing things about our business is that we're able to highlight people's individual strengths, right? We talk a lot about the 4 personality types and how they each have their gifts and their idiosyncrasies. We can help capitalize on those by delegating. And, this is a crazy business for people that are codependent, right? Because you're going to kill yourself trying to be all things to all people. But the interesting thing about empowering others to self-organize is that when people will take greater ownership of things that they participate in. So in other words, if you really want people to take ownership of their business, involve them. Every Monday morning I do a mastermind call, and this is a collaborative call. So team members give an inspirational thought, they give a product spotlight, they help train from their own skill set. And when you give people the chance to grow like this, and then also realizing that this is a volunteer army, right? We can't make anybody do anything. But when you give people these opportunities, it roots them. It creates a solid foundation for them. And people take ownership more of things that they're able to participate in. And then kind of in terms of letting go of the reins, back in the day, back in the olden days when we used to do this with home meetings and hotel meetings and all of that, we used to say when you're bringing on a new team member, you do the first meeting for them. The second meeting, you have them help with you and they participate. The third meeting, you sit at the back and you watch them do this. And so this is number 2. This is people want to be a part of an organization where they are empowered to self-organize. Okay, so let's go on to number 3 here. Number 3 is people want to be led by a person who fosters a sense of connection and belonging. So let's just say this, guys. We are a social species, and one of our deepest needs and our greatest desires is to belong. So much is said today about finding your tribe, finding your people. You're my people, right? That all of that sense of belonging, finding a people with like-minded values and aligning with them. This is just so important. Let me tell you that kind of the subcategories that went with this one is it's creating a feeling of succeeding and failing as a pack. Right? Like this is a part of our, like how we're hardwired. We know that when we come together, we are stronger. We have a greater chance of survival. We have a greater ability to win when we come together. So this fostering a sense of connection and belonging is also creating a feeling of succeeding and failing as a pack and building that strong connection. And, you know, it kind of comes down to that whole thing of, you know, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Because once we feel safe, we also want to feel cared for, and we want to feel a part of something that is bigger than us. And so leaders that are capable of fostering that sense of connection and belonging will thrive in this business. And this is actually pretty easy to do by like just making sure that you know your team and you know their lives, and that you are able to be in life with them. And social media is fantastic about this. I'll tell you what, I learned a long time ago that before following up with a potential team member, that I always take a quick look at what they've posted. I want to know where their head is that day. Did they just have a triumph with one of their kids? Did their dog just die? Right? I need to know where they are. And so social media helps us stay on top of what's happening in people's lives so that we can really, there's no substitute for it. Once people feel safe and they know that they have a level playing field where their efforts will be rewarded fairly, once they feel that, they want to feel like they belong. And I got to say, guys, with what we do at this company, our community and the connection, the level of collaboration that we have from the top down, and the honest caring. Guys, there's no substitute for it. I can see compassion as a core value lived out in spades in our leadership, in our corporate team, the way that we are one to each other. Like, it matters. And I think at the end of the day, like, I love that thing about we're succeeding and failing together as a pack. Bottom line is this: if you want to succeed in life, you've got to be able to learn and grow. The only way you can learn and grow is to fail. And so the way to win is to fail faster. And I just also love how this next one that we're going to be talking about, like it incorporates that idea of being able to be humble and admit when we're wrong and make changes fast. Can you just see how the core values tie in with all of these? A sense of belonging, compassion, the ability to foster trust, authenticity, right? Like, do you see how I was just blown away when I started reading this Harvard Business Review study and knowing in my heart of hearts that, wow, if I just seek to embody the core values that have been set by our company, like, we're going to win all day long. So, okay, let's see here. Just knowing that we have each other's back, right? Like, there's nothing more valuable than that. Okay, and so this next one, like I mentioned, kind of encompasses our core value of being humble. And this one is number 4. People want to be led by an individual that shows an openness to new ideas and fosters organizational learning. Okay, some of this stuff sounds so corporate, right? But it does apply to us. All of this applies to us. And I can't tell you how often I hear Justin and Sarah saying that we need to challenge our assumptions, right? Just because something is spinning and it's spinning well doesn't mean that we're done innovating. This number 4, right, the top competencies of leadership, it kind of encompasses humility, humble, being able to be humble, but also it encompasses our core value of disruptive. We've got to be willing to question our assumptions. We can't rest on our laurels thinking that we've got this all figured out. So we have to be willing. And bottom line is, who do you want to do life with, right? I pick you guys. I love doing life with this team. And I do have to share that, I've been doing this for 29, almost 30 years. And I can tell you with 1000% transparency that I've never worked in a better environment. And I choose this group to learn with, to grow with, to wrestle through challenges with. Like the caliber and integrity, the trust level is so high. I literally, after 29 years, almost 30 of doing this business, have never had a better environment. I just absolutely love this. So, it's, admitting that we're wrong is not easy. But like I mentioned, we need to be able to admit it when we've made a mistake and be able to move on. So the last one, number 5, is that people want to be led by somebody that nurtures their growth, their ongoing growth. At the end of the day, what we achieve in this business, yes, the money that we amass and the freedom that we gain, all of those things are amazing. But at the end of the day, what really matters is who you become and who you help others become. Personal development, achieving, becoming has always been such a high value to me that I'm not surprised that this one is in the top 5 of these 195 leaders across the world that were interviewed. Being committed to each individual's ongoing growth, helping me, right? This is the desire of those who are following, helping me to become a next generation leader, right? This is big stuff, who we become in the process. And so this is also hardwired in us, the desire for excellence, the desire to be our best. And so somebody that can lead and foster this ability to grow, this ability to step into our excellence, this ability to be human when we're human and love on each other in this whole process of becoming is absolutely a huge component of leadership and helping people to become all that they can be. And so, as I look at all of this stuff, and let me just I can post this article. I think you'll enjoy referring to the article as well. And I'll post this little chart of these 10 leadership competencies that have been summarized into these 5 major themes. So number 1, somebody that can be trusted. People want to follow someone they can trust, that has a high ethical sense and that provides a feeling of safety. Number 2, people want to be led by somebody that empowers them to self-organize. I mean, how perfect is that for our business? Our business is really a personal development package with a compensation plan attached. So people do get to learn how to self-organize. And number 3, people want to follow people that foster a sense of belonging and connection, someone that really cares. They want to follow somebody that shows openness to new ideas, is on the cutting edge, is not afraid to innovate, is always open, can always admit if they're wrong and move on and make it happen quickly. And people want to be a part of an organization that nurtures their growth. I rest my case, guys. Do we sort of have it all? Do we have the best of all worlds here? And just my final words, I think if we can go through life with a philosophy, probably one of my very favorite concepts of leadership that cuts through everything and It's really just about how to do life. Comes from Wallace Wattles' book, The Science of Getting Rich. I think he wrote it in 1906. But the idea is that, I know I say this a lot and I'm saying it again. Yes, thank you. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you've enjoyed the call. I'm saying it again, that if we can go through our lives with a philosophy of leaving every person that crosses our path with a feeling of increase. You know, we only go this way once. And this is our life. This is not practice, right? This is the show. This is the real deal. And when we can get outside of ourselves enough, I believe that statement, that quote, that most men live lives of quiet desperation. Guys, we all have our individual hurts. We all have things that we're wrestling with. We all have struggles. We all have self-doubt that we're looking to conquer and to rise above. And if we can just be that person, that whether it is a smile or a compliment or a pat on the back, whatever it is, if we can make that commitment that everyone who crosses our path, whether it's somebody we walk past in the mall or on a sidewalk, or that we are going to leave them with a feeling of increase, then we can know that our life is well lived. And so, my friends, I hope that you have gotten something out of this leadership circle. I hope there are a few things, a few takeaways, a few practical things that you can implement right away to step into more fully your leadership capabilities. These are traits, these are skills that you can activate. You can do this. There are no born leaders. Leaders happen by development and by intention. So with that, you guys, look forward to seeing many of you in Dallas this weekend, and love you all. Thank you. So glad that you guys joined in. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Marcy. Thank you. Love you guys. Thanks, Sandra. Love you all. Talk to you soon.